Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. And it's just Marco here once again to talk about the Puppet Master series. I'm going to rank all 14 of them. And I know you guys are wondering why. Well, honestly, because I would have liked to have edited another Binge Buffet episode and uploaded that today to get those bastards out of the way, because I wanted those to be all together in one video. I didn't want to have to do this where I uploaded 10 more videos on that shitty series, Tell Me Your Secrets. It's on Safi's phone. The rest of them are. And Safi has decided to not be here this morning. And so I can't edit it right now, and so I can't upload it and have it done in time, and so that kind of sucks. But I will edit a Binge Buffet episode and upload it tomorrow. I promise you that. So let's get right into it. The Puppet Master series has been a series near and dear to me. It was a series that was sort of made for kids, honestly. It's a horror series that's, it's quote-unquote rated R, and it's quote-unquote, it's really serious. But in all honesty, it's basically a kid's movie. It is, straight up, the puppets are basically the characters from Toy Story, to the point of, they have this, voice where they can kind of talk. Sorry about that. God, I just woke up. I swear, I haven't eaten anything or had anything to drink, and I'm already burping. It's really something. But they have their own voice. They talk to each other. They move basically when no one's around, or if they have a master, they move when he's around, or to kill someone. But that's what the series reminded me of as a kid, was like if Toy Story was rated R. And the series, it really went downhill. And it's sad, all the wasted potential of this series. There's been 14 movies, and it feels like 6 maybe of them are savable, maybe 5 or 6 out of 14. That's bad. That's only half of the series. So there's half that's trash, and there's half that's good. So my number 14 is Puppet Master Axis Rising. Now, this is another shitty Axis trilogy movie. The Axis universe just refuses to give up, even though literally everyone says it's shit. And everyone says, can we move on from the Axis trilogy? We're kind of done with that now. We want to move on. We're sick of these stupid World War II stories with puppets in it. The only good one has been Part 3. So everyone after that has sucked. So why do you keep doing it? It's a mystery to me. To me, it's probably because they just want to create some new puppets that are World War II themed. Like the Japanese stereotype puppet, Kamikaze. And he's got, oh my god, so stereotypical, it's terrible. But Axis Rising was boring, it was garbage. It had basically hardly any kills. It felt like a student movie, and it had no nudity in it either. And I know you're wondering, well, why is that an issue? Because in the movie, they decided to have this blonde bombshell Nazi, and she had these big boobs, and you never got to see them the whole movie, and that's just hilariously weird. I mean, it's not the fact that, that has to be in every movie we have to see a naked woman. But it's Puppet Master. And there's nothing else that happens in this movie that's good. So if that woman took off her top and showed those big bazookas, then it would actually make the movie higher up than Blade the Iron Cross. So it's really a shame, that, and then they even turn her into a puppet where her boobs are guns. So it's like her boobs. I mean, I'm serious. Most of this movie is focused on this woman having big breasts, and she walks around like dominating this doctor. Like that's most of the movie. It's basically like porn without the stuff in it. It's terrible. It's awful. It's embarrassing. And it really does not feel like a Puppet Master movie either. It just feels like a student film with the puppets in it accidentally. Number 13, as I mentioned, is Blade the Iron Cross. This movie really pissed me off. I wish I could put this movie in last place because you think about it. Oh, we're finally going to have a Puppet Master solo movie where it's just all about one puppet, and that one puppet has to strategize and navigate through a story. Like, wow, that sounds really cool. Like, I'd love to see a Tunneler solo movie. I'd love to see a Torch solo movie. But it's just terrible. And it's also a part of the shitty Axis trilogy, of course. And, the story is trash. The villain is this German stereotype trash villain. It looks like a stage play. It looks like a school play. It is so bad. And it's hilariously bad when it gets near the end. It has terrible music. It is just so awful. And it pissed me off so much. There was this dipshit on the Puppet Master Facebook group, and he got his panties in a bunch when I criticized this movie. He was like, "How could you criticize this movie? It was made for a little amount of money, and the people put hard work into it." And it's like, I don't give a fuck. You know how many videos I've put hard work into that have sucked? And I can admit that they sucked. Can you admit that that movie sucked? Because it's one thing to, like, not be mean and not, like, just be... Like, I hope that the people who made this piece of shit garbage movie, I hope that they get better and that they make better movies. But this movie was just such a pile of shit. It was such a low effort, low quality, bargain bin, awful movie. And to have this, he defended it for hours. And I was laughing like, what the hell? Like, ugh. There are people out there who think Blade the Iron Cross is some sort of a masterpiece. Like, that's scary. That's really scary. You guys are scared of terrorists. You're scared of serial killers. You're scared of sex traffickers. Remember, there are people out there who think that Blade the Iron Cross is a good movie. And that just speaks to people nowadays. And the one good thing about it, though, is that it does have some good kills. And that is why it's above Axis Rising. Number 12 is Axis Termination. This movie has more kills than Blade the Iron Cross, so by default, it's better. But other than that, it's a piece of shit movie. It's another piece of shit Axis trilogy movie. And I couldn't care less. Once again, there's no there's nudity of the main black girl. This weird, like, sex magic girl who she dances in a weird way while she's topless. Like, it's really weird. It's really bad. And her character is basically, I don't know, like a callback to the sex magic person in part 1? I mean, I have no idea. But other than that, you had there were some good villains in this movie. I liked the main female villain. She was hot in like a milfy kind of way, and then she had this assistant who had these needle fingers, and she was really hot. She was sort of like a dirty little cosplay girl type of hot. But you never get to see them naked, and they never really come off as scary villains. And then there's this weird doctor, and they're basically like 80% of the film is this weird Nazi doctor torturing people and being like, I'm torturing you, I'm evil Nazi guy, arr. And then basically the rest of it is killing. And it's really bad. It just shows like what a failure the Axis trilogy was. It's a trilogy of movies that nobody wanted, nobody likes. I mean, some people like it, I guess, but I feel bad for them because they need to see better movies. Number 11 is Curse of the Puppet Master. This movie is just a bad movie. It is just poorly put together. It's poorly directed. It's a stupid story that nobody wanted. It has some good kills, though. It's cool. The puppets are pretty cool. I mean, they're pretty. It's cool. It just, at least it's not the Axis trilogy. I'll say that. But still, it is pretty stupid to the point of, like, at the end. Like, I don't even want to get into what happens at the end. Like, if you guys have seen the end, it's just really embarrassing what happens. I mean, the poster gives it away, but in the movie, it's done so cartoonishly. It's sad because, once again, wasted potential. It could have been a good movie, probably, but it was terrible. It was just not worth my time. Number 10 is Puppet Master Axis of Evil. Now, I know I just shit-talked the Axis trilogy, and I'm still gonna shit-talk it, but I will say that Axis of Evil, the first one, is the best one of the trilogy, and Blade included. It is a competently made movie. It's not that bad. It honestly, like, if they had just not done this, I would have been happier, though. So, F this movie. It's just another trash movie. It doesn't feel like a Puppet Master movie. It's stupid. The plot is trash. You got the villains. You got, I'm stereotypical Japanese villain. She was very stereotypical and she was really bad. And so I know people thought that I was just making a generic impression, but that was genuinely what she sounded like in the movie. And I was making fun of this trash actress, this trash character, who was like, really? Like, this is the villain in a Puppet Master movie? Ugh. And then you had this boring German guy who, I can't even remember him. He was like this guy who, just the premise was stupid to begin with. To have a movie be all about the two Nazi henchmen, the random henchmen who came to kill Toulon in his hotel. Like, to have a movie be all about them is just the stupidest idea I've ever heard of. And it's... Ugh. Number 9 is Puppet Master Legacy. Now, I like Puppet Master Legacy, even though it's not even a movie, basically. It's a clip show. But the reason why I like it is actually because, as a kid, what I could do is I could ask my mom to rent this Puppet Master movie instead of begging her to rent one of the other ones. And so I would get to see all of the Puppet Master movies in this movie. And it was amazing. I would watch it all the time because it was so cool to see, I just get to see some kills from all the Puppet Master movies. Instead of, being that kid who falls asleep watching one of them by themselves. Because I would fall asleep as a kid trying to watch, like, the full movies. And they're still boring as hell for the most part. So, but Puppet Master Legacy, it is very much a kid's movie. And if you've got a kid who wants to get into the Puppet Master series, I would recommend, instead of showing them one of them, to just show them this, because they'll like what they see, and they'll want to see them all by themselves in the future. Number 8 is Retro Puppet Master. This movie's kind of like a type of movie. It was supposed to be the jumping off point of a series like the Axis trilogy, where they fought Dracula and the Wolfman and shit, but it was just kind of meh. The story itself was good. Like, I like the idea of seeing how Too Long got his puppets. I like the idea of it being a, quote, retro puppet master, so we get to see all these, like, olden style puppets. Like, that's pretty cool. But it really doesn't fit in with the rest of the series. Like, at this point, it's been established that, I mean, this takes place, like, what, 10 years before World War II? Yet, in World War II, the World War II era, they have puppets that are way more advanced than this. So it doesn't feel like it fits in with the series as a whole. And the Greg Sestero playing Toulon is just cringeworthy. I mean, he's doing this accent that's just so bad. But the movie, I will say, the movie is fun near the end. I like the puppets, some of them. Like, I love the look of Dr. Death. I love the Blade one. They really made some cool puppets in this one. But they don't really do much to impress me. Number 7 is Puppet Master: The Littlest Rec. This is the remake, and it has got this huge story issue because it's a very woke movie. It's the woke Puppet Master movie. It's all about, like, Nazis in modern day, and how, like, all the puppets are Nazis, and Nazi this and Nazi that, and it's just so stupid. The story is laughably bad. The characters are trash. That being said, there are some great kills. The puppets are awesome. And I still don't want to see a sequel, though, because it really doesn't feel like it's an actual Puppet Master movie. It feels like, once again, like a fan film, like a student film in the Puppet Master world. Number 6 is Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys. This movie is still bad. Like, I think this movie's a bad movie, but it's really enjoyable. I've never seen a Demonic Toys movie. This is the only one I've seen of the Demonic Toys. And they were pretty cool. Like, it's just a fun, bad movie where you get to see the puppets, you get to see the Demonic Toys, and it's a Christmas movie. It's a fun little bad movie. You got Corey Feldman, and he is laughably bad in this movie, and he really gives a funny performance. Number 5 is Puppet Master 4, and number 4 is Puppet Master 5. These ones are kind of interchangeable to me. They also feel like they're different from the first 3 Puppet Masters. They have this over-the-top villain, and he's like this demon god or something, and he has these pyramid head monsters, and it's really sort of like a one-off type of movie, but it's enjoyable. It's pretty good. It's entertaining. It's got some good moments. It's got some good kills. I like the idea of it, of, like, now that the puppets don't have evil Toulon anymore, they gotta have a new master, and the master's in the form of this young guy, and he's pretty good, and it's pretty good. It's just, it could have been way better. It's yet again more wasted potential. So number 3 is Puppet Master 1. This is a classic horror movie. It's very creepy. It's got this great atmosphere. It's got a great setting, too. And it's just overall a very good horror movie. It's not a great horror movie. It's not the best one, but it is pretty good. And it's got some really awesome moments in it. Like, it really feels like a breath of fresh air into the horror world. And, the part at the end where they're all teaming up to kill one guy was so cool. That was probably the best part of the movie, and probably a highlight of the Puppet Master series. Sorry, I was almost gonna burp again. And I was like, what the hell? Like, how does that work? Number 2 is Puppet Master 2. This movie is a great sequel. It's got some really awesome stuff in it, like Torch. Torch is my favorite puppet next to Tunneler. And Torch is in this movie. Torch has amazing kills. And, he really is the best puppet of the series. And other than that, you got Toulon as a villain. And so in the first one, Toulon died. But this one, he comes back. And he's basically like the Invisible Man. And you got, there's human puppets too. Like, it's really creepy. These human puppets with this green ooze inside of them. Like, it's really gross and creepy, and it gets really good by the end. And this is a really good horror movie. It used to be my number 1 as well. It's really good. Number 1 is Puppet Master 3, Toulon's Revenge. Now, everyone loves this movie. Everyone puts this movie at number 1. And I agree. It is a fantastic horror movie. It is a great Puppet Master movie. It really shows what the Puppet Master series is capable of. You got Klaus Kinski, who is a villain in real life because he raped his daughters in real life. He was an evil piece of shit person in real life. And it comes across on screen. He's a very evil person. And so it's cool that we have like a really evil villain. And you got Toulon, played by this great actor. And so Toulon in this movie is actually really good. He's a great character. And he's such a great protagonist. He's probably the best protagonist of the series. And you got the origin of Leech Woman. You got all sorts of great stuff. I mean, the final kill where Blade kills Klaus Kinski is just amazing. And it's really a great, fun movie. And it feels like, okay, this is what the Puppet Master series could be. But it could have been better, honestly. I know I'll say that with all of them, because all of them are good, bad movies. They're good B movies. There really is potential in the series to be better, but the series has never reached its fullest potential. In fact, the series has just gotten worse over time. I think it's more the fault of the studio, because Full Moon has basically become a factory of bad movies. They make movie after movie after movie, and they're all bad. And it just feels like lack of effort. It feels like, okay, let's make the next movie, crank it out, and then it sucks. Okay, let's make the next movie, crank it out, and then it sucks. It feels almost like, no, I don't want to make that comparison. Never mind. But anyways, I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. And then, let me know what your ranking of the Puppet Master franchise is, because I'd love to see it in the comments. And I'd love to have a debate about why Axis Rising is the best Puppet Master movie or not. Well, actually, no, I don't. I don't want to talk about that movie. That movie was torture to try and watch. That was probably one of the worst experiences I've ever had on the channel's history. So, goodbye everybody. See you soon for another probably binge buffet episode.